On today's training, we're going to show you how to use one of these to close more deals this week. Now, a lot of people are visual learners, so we have to use all the tools at our disposal to get them to actually have that moment where you have the connection in their brain that this is going to make sense for them. I'm sure you've had that before, where you continuously try to pitch and sell, and the person's just kind of looking at you and going, yeah, I just don't know, I just don't feel it, right? And you're like, what don't you know, right? You're going to save a ton of money, it's going to lower your power bill every month. What is there to think about? But the truth is, they just haven't had their own aha moment. Like, you'll have people, you can visually see people have that moment, you know, when you're pitching and you're reiterating yourself and you're using visual aids, and all of a sudden they go, oh, I get it. Now that makes sense, right? They kind of sit back and they relax, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense, right? You've actually made them have their own epiphany, for lack of a better term. So this notebook situation or approach is a good way to get someone who is, you know, very creative. Maybe it's a nicely decorated house. You know, they're going to be probably more on the visual side. So you have to give them everything at their disposal. And black and white, I'm using a marker because we're on camera here, but black and white is scientifically proven to be influential with human beings because we've been reading black letters on white paper since we were little kids, right? So we're predisposed to that. So what we do is we just put their choices black and white in a notebook, and they can decide what they want to do, right? So let's use $250 a month as an example, right? So Mr. Homeowner, you're currently paying $250 a month, and to keep things simple, this is your e-bill. That is $3,000 a year, okay? Now, what do you think this number represents? Right? And they're going to say, well, that's what I'm going to pay on my power bill, my annual power bill, in the next 10 years. And it's like, most people think that. Okay? Now imagine if the utility company called you up tomorrow and said, hey, you know what, Jim, I have this amazing deal. We're going to never increase your electricity rate. We're actually going to lock it in at your promotional rate now for the next 10 years, right? Never have to worry about inflation. Would you do that, right? Obviously, that would be a no-brainer. Everybody would sign up for a rate lock of a decade, right? Because they know they're saving a ton of freaking money on rising energy costs. So, Mr. Homeowner, what do you think you're actually going to be spending on electricity in the next 10 years, right? And you have to be confident and convicted when you're doing this, or else it all falls apart. Hand them the pen. Have them write it down. It's going to give them that brain, hand, whatever, emotional, gut, limbic brain connection that they need to have their own aha. Okay, so you'll be surprised too. They'll go crazy. They'll say $45,000, right? That's what I'm going to pay. So we've agreed that you're going to actually pay $45,000 on electricity. And what do you have for it? What can you show for it? Nada, zilch, nothing, right? Now this is after you've pitched the numbers, okay? This is after they know the cost of the system, after rebates and incentives and all that good stuff, right? Draw a line down the center. You can use landscape, notebook, however you want, but now you have the solar option on the other side. Let's say the system is $27,500 after credits, after rebates, all that stuff. So ask them, which would they rather do? Spend $45,000 on electricity with nothing to show for it, or spend $27,500 and have a solar system to show for it that increases the resale value of the home? Slide the notebook at them and ask them to choose which one they'd like to go with. You'll start to have more people do aha when you actually push the notebook, or when they're actually writing down that number, they're going to remember what the system costs. So before you even draw that line and go into the solar side of things, they're going to start to go like this. right? And then you know you got it. All you got to do from there is loop them back in to the closing question, ask if we can go ahead and hold a spot on the installation schedule, if we can go ahead and reserve their rebate, if we can go ahead and give the utility company the good news, can we get you signed up to go solar with us today? And that, my friends, is how you close a deal using your notebook.